Here's the strange thing about this show. The harshest complaint people had about Season 1, and the biggest compliment people are giving Season 2, are, if you actually line them up, the exact same observation. Just pointed in opposite directions. So first, who is this about? Beryl Gardenant is a former knight who ended up as a swordsmanship instructor in a nowhere village. And here's the part that matters structurally. Several of the students he trained have already gone on to surpass him. He doesn't get meaningfully stronger across the story. That's not a flaw in the writing, it's the entire premise. The show isn't about a man leveling up. It's about what happens after the students already won. Season 1 spent a lot of its runtime on the mechanics of that teaching footwork, distance, reading an opponent before the blade ever moves. When the camera stays on the lesson, it's patient, almost instructional, and it's genuinely good. But look at who's actually in this story with him. Lu Xia, Saiti Rus surpassed her teacher years ago and still keeps coming back. Fizzle Hervaler is still closing the gap, still training under him directly. Every one of these relationships runs through the same room, the one where he taught them in the first place. So here's the complaint side. The most repeated criticism of Season 1's overall run was that a major issue was how much else was going on that wasn't much related to the premise of the Swordmaster instruction. In other words, whenever the show left the classroom, people felt it. Quick number, and I want to be careful here, because a lot of scores floating around for this show can't actually be verified. The one I could confirm directly is LiveChart's Season 1 score, 7.59 out of 10, from 2,400 ratings. That's the number I'm citing, and it's the only one. Now here's the praise side, and it's the flip of the exact same coin. One review of the Season 2 premiere put it directly, this time the show actually delivers on its premise, because Beryl is back in the room, actually running the lesson, on screen, for real. Put those two verdicts side by side, and they're not contradicting each other. They're describing the same axis from opposite ends. Less time on the lesson made Season 1 wobble. More time on the lesson is exactly why Season 2 is landing. And it's worth saying what that lesson actually looks like on screen, because it isn't power scaling. One reviewer described the swordsmanship here as an art built more around technique than around raw strength or stamina. That's a specific, unusual choice for the genre, and it's the reason the sparring reads as instruction instead of a fight scene with extra steps. The scene reviewers pointed to first was Fizzle's sparring match with Beryl. She's the student who's still closing the gap, not the one who already surpassed him, and critics called the match both visually impressive and thematically significant. Structurally, that's the whole show in one match, a teacher who isn't getting stronger, tested by a student who's proving the teaching worked in real time. Now, I said I'm not going to hide the parts that don't work, and there's a clear one. Episode 2 of this season got called out directly. One review said it isn't a great episode of the series by any stretch, because there's no action. Another called it a decent time that provides needed setup that does little to excite. Both of those are fair, and both of them still fit the same rule. Quick housekeeping. Season 2 has been airing since July 8, 2026 on TV Asahi, streaming worldwide on Prime Video the next day. Production is Passion again, with Hao Yah Busa Film handling the 3D work, and the director, the series writer, and the character designer are all the exact same people who made Season 1. The lesson coming back to the center wasn't a change of hands, it was a choice by the same team. So an episode with no action isn't a failure of a different rule, it's the same rule, just unpaid for 1 week. When the classroom's at the center, the show works, whether that's a sparring match or a quiet setup episode. When it isn't, people notice, in both directions. So that's the whole shape of it for me, a teacher who never gets stronger, students who already won, and a show that's only as good as the time it spends proving the teaching was real. Do you think Season 2 has actually found the balance Season 1 was missing? Let me know in the comments, and subscribe if you want more deep dives.